Hey everyone, today I am going to show you how to create some super quick Christmas cards using one of these cut apart 12 by 12 sheets. If you are creating Christmas cards for teachers or a community group, this is a really quick way to do it if you do not have a lot of time and if you like to use just minimal supplies. With this one, you can see here that I've got, some of them are portrait, but then there are two of them on this sheet that are actually landscape or horizontal, which means I'm going to show you how to create the portrait and the horizontal using left folding cards and top folding cards, because we want to add a little bit of a twist to this. I have a series of 12 by 12 papers that I can use as the base layer, and then I am going to add these little elements on top. Given these are going to be really simple cards, I thought that what I would do is use the unusual chop off the front. I have several videos where I've used card sketches for this. This may be the same as the card sketch, so if it is, I will credit whoever created it. It might be one of the Crafty Owl sketches, but basically I'm just going to cut 1.25 inches off the end for the side fold card, and so that means I can add 1 inch strip down here, and I can add some to the front of here with my cut apart on a matting layer, and I create a really simple card, but it has a little bit of interest. So that's what the horizontal or the left fold is going to look like. This one here, very similar, but top fold. And we need this one for our horizontal because we need to chop it from the side. So again, I'm going to cut off 1.25 inches, and our template will then look like this with the overhang, which means the focus is on this panel at the front, and we do cover up a lot of the pattern paper behind, but that's okay. And I will put 2 different papers here and here where I can. There are lots of different companies that do these panels, and I am sure if you needed to do cards for a particular purpose, there are 12 on here, and I'm going to create 12 in the video today, but I do have supplies on my desk, including these white panels, to do 4 sheets. So that means I can create 48 cards using this really simple approach. But I'm just going to show you 12. So if I line them up based on the 3 sides where I know that they'll be even, then I can just trim off the end. These are really pretty. I just love the colors. Okay, now I have my card bases and I have my little decorative toppers. The next thing I need to do is look at my pattern paper. Now, what I've done here, I have a 8.5 tonic trimmer that is my favorite tool on the planet. I love it. And I also have the big 12 by 12 at the other end of my desk. So because I want to use this on camera, I've just chopped all of these down. So I've got an 8 and a 4, because either of these will fit into my trimmer to cut them down further. This foiled paper is quite expensive, and this one here is on clearance and was much more economical. So what I would like to do is use this one wherever possible. If I take a look at the cards, I'm actually going to need to create different dimensions for each one. I want a piece of pattern paper that will go on the front, and then I want a strip. Now I know here that I need a 1 inch strip because I cut 1.25 inches off. That will give it a nice border. And then I know that this is 5.5 because it's a standard A2, which is 5.5 by 4.25. This piece here is definitely, and I might even write on it because I can stick the paper over the top. So this is going to be 1 inch by 5.25 inches for the rectangle. And then for this piece over here, I know that this was 4.25 and I cut 1.25 off, so it's now 3. So if I take 1/4 off that, I need 2.75 inches, and then the height is going to be the same at 5.25. For the horizontal, this is going to be similar, so it's going to be 1 inch. And then because this is 4.25 and I've cut 1 off, this is going to be 4 inches. And then the other direction, the same, it's going to be the same height, so it's going to be 4 inches. And this was 5.5, I've cut off 1.25, so that drops it back to 4.25. And then I need a 1/2 inch border, so this one's going to be 4 by 4. these dimensions are a little bit nicer to use when I am chopping up this paper, because this panel, for example, I can immediately cut that down into 4x4, waste absolutely no paper, and I have these panels for the front. Unfortunately though, I've only got 2 that are going to work that way, and most of them are the portrait or the vertical, which means that I'm going to need to muck around with different sizes, and I'll end up with a little bit of waste. Depending on which paper you use, you might end up with a combination of vertical and horizontal that might be a little different, but either way, these are the dimensions that you need. I want to work out how many of these designs do I think I could use this for the big panel. I think it works perfectly with these 2. This one's a bit yellowier rather than the tan, so I don't think that's a good match. So I'm going to remove that. I don't think it really works with the style. Well, it works with the style because these look similar, but I don't think that color combination is particularly great. And similar with these really dark ones. Again, I don't think it matches. I think it could work with this one and these 3. And then I think it's okay with this Joy. And then that one's a bit like this All is Calm, All is Bright. It's a bit yellowy, it doesn't match. Okay, I'm not gonna push my luck and force it because I want my cards to match. I wanna like them. It means I need to cut down from this paper. I need 4 that are 2.75 by 5 1/4, which means I'm gonna use this big piece, not the smaller piece. Can go on my leftovers pile. Got my 5 1/4 by 2.75. Okay, so those are gonna go with those. And then I think these colors match the tone of that one, and these match the tones over here. So does that mean we stick dark with dark and light with light, or do we contrast it? I mean, the tones all work beautifully together, and the reality is I need toe paces. I think these 2 together would be a little bit much, so we'll try and avoid that. I think the wooden paneling could be the second color on all of the remaining cards. Okay, so I think this and this is fantastic because it's a great match. So this would be great for the 1 inch, because when it's going to go on the card, it'll be like this, and then the 1 inch can be over here. And then the question is, what piece do I put behind it? And I can do that same approach for those 3. So I want to try and put them in bundles so I'm not confusing myself by creating unique combinations for everything. So I think those ones will have the thin. These ones should all have, these 3 should have this paper. And also, I'll do those in a second. Okay, let me do the ones that I'm ready for. And I'm being mindful of the gold on the back. The gold on the back is gorgeous, and so I'm trying not to, I don't want to waste it. So I'm having my spare piece have that beautiful gold. Having 4 1 inch strips. So for these were the 3 that I said I was going to offset with that gorgeous color. So those are done. For this one, I might do the same. It's really nice, which means there's 3, 3, and then what about these? That seems a little radical for those 4. So I've got a couple of spare pieces building up here. Okay, this is 4. Okay, so those 10 are done, 3, 3, and 4. And then for these 2, I don't think either of those are gonna work with the craft color. Drag this out from underneath. This will be a reminder. How about I try and use up some of my bits and pieces that I have here? So I think that one can go with that for sure. What do I do with this golden yellowy color? Maybe I could bring in some more gold from the trees. The question is, I don't think it goes with the yellow. So if this is a 4 by 4, I need to chop this down to a 4 inch. So that's 1. And what am I going to do for this one? I could just do plain, and then I put this on it, and then I put this underneath. Do you know what? That works. And then I don't end up with quite as many leftovers. Sold. Now all we need to do is tape everything together. I'm putting my tape as close to the edge as I can and trying to make sure I go all the way to the end so that nothing folds up. And then with this, I don't put tape all the way to the edge of this one because it's going to hang over. So putting these together is so super quick. So the 4x4 goes straight on the front. Okay, and then this, I'm just lining it up so that it's pretty even, and then you have a little bit of overlap. So I love that look. It just adds a teeny tiny bit of interest. It looks like it's taken some time to create, but the cutting out of the paper is just so straightforward. That's the horizontal. And then for the vertical, exactly the same approach. I've added a link right here to my Christmas card playlist so that you can get some more inspiration for getting ready for the holiday season. Have a great day.